So do I miss the Gen 3 Toyota Tacoma at all? I get asked this question a lot on the channel, so I thought, we're finally going to just address it in one video in one place and put it into it. First of all, do I miss it at all? Well, that would be all-encompassing, and I guess, yeah, I do miss the Gen 3 Tacoma, and I'm talking about all of the Tacomas that I've had prior to the 2024 that we're sitting in right now. But what do I miss about it? And is it enough to actually trade back to the Gen 3? Well, first of all, I miss, I guess, the modability of it. And this isn't really a fault of the 2024. It's simply because the new truck is out and it takes a while for the aftermarket to catch up. I mean, they have to design parts, get measurements, engineer everything, make sure that stuff works, be able to put their hands on trucks themselves to come up with parts and additions and accessories and things that you can add to the 2024. Now, I will say, fortunately, it does seem that the number of aftermarket parts for the Gen 4 is getting better. It's starting to grow. We got a nice bright light. A little sunny here today, finally. But anyway, the aftermarket is starting to grow. There are things coming out. I know for a while you really couldn't get anything except for maybe the letters that go in the Tacoma stamped tailgate, really. That's about it. Now we have floor mats and bed mats, and we even have skid plates, side steps, things like that are starting to be available, so that's cool. Secondly, I miss the look of it a bit. Honestly, I've said for quite a while that the Gen 3 Tacoma is the best looking midsize truck on the road. And honestly, I still believe that. I mean, it's not that the 2024 is horrible or I hate it or anything, because I don't. But the Gen 3, it just had something. I think that's why it's so popular and lasted so long. And I think that's why a lot of people really still favor the Gen 3 and kind of look down upon the 2024 a little bit. And it's funny because Toyota didn't really change it all that much. I mean, it still has the same general look as the Tacoma always did. It's just a little bit bigger, or at least it feels bigger, that's for sure. I mean, when I'm sitting in this truck now, driving along from the perspective that I have, and this truck is lifted, but I've lifted my other ones as well. It still feels bigger to me. It feels like it has a bigger footprint. And I really notice this when I pull up to non-lifted full-size trucks. The other day I was driving and I pulled up to an F-150. Now, in all fairness, it was a late model, but I was sitting, it felt like, higher than that truck, and that was kind of strange because I've never really felt like I've sat higher than any full-size truck in the past, but I do with this truck. And I think part of that might be, strangely, the hood scoop that's right in front of me, because that kind of raises my perspective a little bit from the front of the truck and honestly makes it feel a little bit higher or taller than it really is. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I got to flip you guys around. Check this out. They are doing work here, and this is supposed to be a 2-lane road. Now, it is very, very tight. You saw that truck go by. We have a van coming now, and I'm trying to squeeze through. I don't know why they're widening this road, but anyway, just kind of a strange occurrence as I'm driving here. Now, there is a third thing that I miss, and this is a big pet peeve of mine, man. This truck, the 2024, has the dreaded auto stop technology in it. You have to push the button to disable it, otherwise default is always on. Every time you turn the truck on or start it up, auto stop is on. I hate auto stop. Trying to remember to push the button, it seems I always forget. It's never until I pull up to a stop sign, the truck shuts off, and I'm like, that damn auto stop is on. It drives me nuts. I don't know why. You know, I've talked to other people who have it, and it doesn't seem to bother them at all. They say that they don't even really notice it. But for me, it's a big pet peeve. Now, there have been some solutions out there in other vehicles, Jeeps for example, where you can buy, it's a little wiring harness that you hook up under the dash, and it eliminates auto stop. What it does is it remembers the last setting that you had, and then it stays there. So if you disable or turn off auto stop, it will therefore always be off after that, because that's the last setting you had. I'm going to have to check into that. I'm not sure if there's one available for the 2024 yet or not, but I am sure that there's going to be. So overall, no, I would not go back to the Gen 3. I do miss certain aspects of it, certain things that it had or didn't have in the case of auto stop, where the Gen 4 is different, I guess. And that's something that, you know, I came to realize I kind of a little mistaken, I guess, before. I kind of thought the Gen 4 was going to be an extension of the Gen 3. In other words, they would just change the truck a bit, call it a redesign, and it really would be a Gen 3 truck with different stuff in it, right? But it really is a completely different truck. It's like Toyota coming out with something brand new and then using the Tacoma name on it. Kind of like the Mustang. You know, Ford has the Mustang, of course, which is awesome. But they came out with this Mustang electric thing, right? Completely different, ugly looking car that is by no means a Mustang. What they tried to do is grab the Mustang name, I think, to maybe spur sales on this new, really SUV electric car. It's a travesty to me. And the Tacoma's not that bad. It's not like they completely, you know, ruined the truck or anything. I mean, it is a step forward in my opinion. It's faster, it's smoother, it's more comfortable. It has the turbo, of course, which a lot of people don't like. I think a lot of people are afraid of it. Probably goes back to the horse and buggy days. I mean, can you imagine how that must have been? We're getting rid of the horse and buggy, which has always been dependable. I hitch up my horse. I have to feed it. I hitch up my horse, and then it's going to get me where I need to go. It's never going to fail like those brand new gas-powered cars. I'm sure back in the day when they first came out, they had all kinds of troubles, right? Maybe not quite as extreme as that, but people tend to be afraid. We tend to be afraid of new things. I may be a little more tolerant than others because, of course, I jumped right on this truck. Well, as soon as I could find one. Anyway, I just wanted to get on, kind of address that a little bit because it keeps coming up on the channel. You know, do you miss the Gen 3? Are you going to go back to the Gen 3? Do you have any regrets? And the answer is sort of. No regrets, but I do miss the Gen 3 a bit. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've recently purchased a 2024 Tacoma, the Gen 4. Do you ever miss the Gen 3 if you had one before? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.